Live, breaking news from News Channel 3.
Right now on News Channel 3 at 5, we are following breaking news. Howling winds fuel a fast-growing brush fire here in Santa Barbara County. It started near Solvang, and it's been moving over the mountains towards Refugio State Beach. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Beth Farnsworth.
And I'm CJ Ward. The fire, which they're now calling the Alisal Fire, was reported a little after 2 o'clock this afternoon at Freeway Place. That's near Alisal Reservoir. Mandatory evacuation orders are in effect right now at Arroyo Hondo and Refugio Canyons.
I want to get straight to News Channel 3's Scott Sheehan, live at the firefighters staging area right there at Refugio State Beach. And the last time this area burned was back in 1955.
Beth, CJ, the big part about this fire is the wind. These strong wind gusts are making it tough for firefighters. I'm going to step out of the way a little bit so you can see where it is. It's just right on the other side of that ridge. Firefighters that are here include the Santa Barbara County, City, Montecito Fire, Cal Fire, and the Forest Service. All out here. This is part of Los Padres National Forest right along the 101. Some of this wind gusts, as you can probably hear, up to 30 miles per hour, and the firefighters are trying to find the right places on how to fight this fire based off of what you're seeing in the terrain and what you're hearing, that wind. Now, I was talking with some firefighters, and they say that normally they would have air support to try to put some retardant on top of the fire from above, but because of the wind, they have grounded those air units. So again, it's right on the other side of that ridge. You can see how giant of a smoke cloud that is going right over out into the Pacific Ocean. We talked a little bit with the sheriff's office, and they came up with, or they started talking about how there are 4 different canyons that are involved. The Refugio Canyon, the Tajigas Canyon, the Arroyo Camada Canyon. All of that has been evacuated, and Arroyo Hondo Canyon during this firefight that's going on. There's also the animal services that are here. They're here to try to make sure that the farms that are back there that have all sorts of different animals try to get evacuated. So there is the evacuation order into this area. Again, talking with those firefighters, they're not sure exactly where these flames are going to go. They're trying to figure that out because of this wind, and the wind's sustained in the 20 miles per hour up to the 30 mile an hour gusts. That's what they were talking about, and trying to figure out how to really fight this. And we're talking with them about any more evacuations that might come, and also how, if it does get closer to either the Freeway or other state parks, then will those get closed? Right now, the Refugio State Beach, that has been evacuated as well. You're seeing there's one camper that's going by us right now. Gaviota State Beach, that has not been evacuated yet, but again, they're trying to find the best way to go after this fire, but because of the wind and the terrain, that is the tough part. We will try to get you more information as we learn more, but as you can see, giant smoke cloud behind us, and they're trying to fight this. Over here near Gaviota, I'm News Channel reporter Scott Sheehan.
All right, thank you so much, Scott. And yes, you're right, that plume has really grown just over the last few minutes especially. We want to go straight now to Andrew Matson. He's with Los Padres National Forest, and of course they are in charge of the organizing of the response to this fire. He's the public information officer. Andrew, can you hear us?
I can.
Hi there. This is really tricky with these strong winds, not being able to get the air support up there to help.
Yeah, no, the aircraft were grounded, and so we have a full response in effect, and that includes about 100 personnel that are either on spot or soon will be, and then we have orders in for another 100 or more. So we are in unified command with our partners at Santa Barbara County Fire Department, and we're setting up a Type 3 organization this evening.
And making this even more difficult, so you can't put up any air support. The other problem, too, might be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but knowing those canyons, very difficult to get up into that high country for the crews that need to get up there on foot, get up there and start working this fire by hand. Is that the case?
Yeah, as you know, CJ, there's not a lot of road access up in these areas, and so I know our crews are plotting that out just as the safest place to engage the fire and where to put the crews to be most successful. But the roads in this area, as across much of the forest, it's a very unroaded forest, and so these are the challenges that our crews come up against quite regularly.
Andrew, we've heard that this fire is roughly 100 acres in size, but the potential, of course, much, much larger than that. This area hasn't burned since the Refugio fire, which was back in 1955. So what is your strategy for kind of mapping this out as you're doing right now?
Well, with the fuel load as it is, you know, we did have a forest closure for a couple of weeks last month and into early October, and part of that was a lot of our crews were off assisting fires in other parts of the state, but also because the fields are extremely dry right now, and you're exactly right that this is also an area that doesn't have a lot of fire history to it, and so there likely is a receptive fuel bed out there, and so our folks are gauging all that to make sure that we don't have anybody in an unsafe position as we go about trying to nip this off.
So we do have evacuations in place for some areas. Are they mostly ranches that are out there?
That's my understanding, CJ. Of course, Santa Barbara County Sheriff usually handle the evacuation piece for us, but you know, there's a lot of ranching out there and a lot of grazing activities, but there are, you know, ranchettes and homes in the area, but it is a lot of open space, a lot of private within the forest in holdings up there.
One of the ranches is the old Reagan Ranch. How close is this fire to the Reagan Ranch, the old Western White House?
Yeah, we actually, I exchanged with the ranch manager earlier today, and he sent me a photo. So it looks to be west of the ranch, pretty good distance. But, you know, that's always a concern, those iconic properties that are up there. We want to make sure that we don't lose any of that.
All right, Andrew Mattson, thank you for taking time to talk to us. We'd like to talk to you again within the next hour if we can for our 6 o'clock newscast, possibly again within this half hour. So we'll reach back to you. Andrew Mattson with Los Padres National Forest, thanks for your help and your information.
Thank you.
Again, there are mandatory evacuations in effect tonight. We're just talking about them. The sheriff's office issued the evacuation order for the area of Arroyo Hondo Canyon and Refugio Canyon west of Goleta. Everyone in the area needs to leave immediately.
And Santa Barbara County Animal Services is helping with animal evacuations. As we heard, there are ranches out there. Livestock can be brought to the Earl Warren Showgrounds in Santa Barbara. Again, complicating this is you got firefighters trying to get up those narrow roads. You have people on the ranches trying to get out with their horse trailers. If you need help evacuating your animals, call the number on your screen. You see it right there, 1-805-681-4332.
I want to turn things over now to Sean Quinn. He's in tonight in the First Alert Weather Center monitoring these dangerous winds.
Yeah, and how, guys? Well, the good news is it looks like we're starting to see some of it starting to weaken, at least to our northern areas. And since it is a northerly wind, that means this is what's coming sort of down or up the pike, if you will, headed our way. So these 30-mile-an-hour winds to 40-mile-an-hour winds, they appear to be abating just a little bit. So right in this area right here, we're looking at winds between 20 to maybe 35 miles an hour. So that's the good news. Now, when I hit the advisory and alert button, won't show up with this color map, but boy, I can tap on it and show you how these winds will progressively get a little better. Also, a little side note, cold air rushing in, so we do have a freeze watch for interior portions of San Luis Obispo County. But as far as the winds, along the central coast, you'll lose them over the next several hours. As we head farther south and east, we'll hold on to the winds until tomorrow morning. And as you head into Ventura County, same story there, 6 o'clock, 3 a.m. or so tomorrow morning. We do expect to start to lose these winds completely across the area, which is outstanding news. So when I come back, we'll talk more about the sort of duality of all the weather events that are going on right now with the cold weather, cold temperatures, and also the winds. Of course, in the 7-day forecast, guys, looks pretty good. So once we get through this wind event, we should do okay. I'll send it back to you, and I'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Sean.